Hi everyone, I'm Wendy, and today I'm showing you a full day of eating plus a sneak peek into my daily routine. And in honor of Dr. Will Bulsiewicz's new book, Plant Powered Plus, I'll be playing a game of Plant Points. If you're not familiar with Plant Points, stay tuned and I'll explain it in a little bit, but first, let me show you how I started my day. These days, I've been eating my breakfast a little later so I can do some yoga and then take a walk beforehand. So I started my day by drinking some water and then getting to a gentle morning yoga routine. As you may remember from some of my previous videos, I was suffering for a long time from an elbow injury, but I've finally been able to get back to some of my favorite activities. So I've slowly been working back up to my normal yoga and exercise routines. I've also recently gotten back into my habit of taking a short morning walk. For the past year or so, I had fallen out of the habit, but the last couple months I've been making a point to go out even on cold mornings like this. And now that I'm getting a little morning sunshine again every day, I've been sleeping better at night. After that, it's time for breakfast. I'll be having my usual, some oatmeal and a smoothie. And like I mentioned earlier, I'll be counting plant points today. Plant points is a very simple concept that Dr. B often talks about to help encourage including a diversity of plants in the diet. The rules are very simple. Just count up the number of different whole plant foods you eat every day. So let's start by seeing how many plants I have in my breakfast. I batch cook oatmeal every week, and this is a mixture of whole oat groats, riced cauliflower, and pumpkin puree. I often add dates, although I didn't add any to this batch, and I season it with a pumpkin pie spice. Then every day, I usually have my oatmeal with blueberries, as I'm doing again today. Moving on to my smoothie, I'll get quite a few points for this one. For the past couple of months, I've been having a mostly veggie smoothie for breakfast. I prepped the veggies ahead of time so I can just dump and go in the morning. This has bell peppers, carrots, tomato, red onion, celery, cucumber, and a clove of garlic. I also always add some kind of leafy green, and today that's spinach. Finally, I'm adding some frozen apple pieces for a little bit of sweetness, and I also add amla, ginger, turmeric, and black pepper. Today, I'm not going to be counting my spices. I'm only going to count whole plant foods. But spices are definitely a fantastic way to add some extra nutrients and a diversity of fiber to your diet. I've heard different variations of how to count plant points, such as counting spices as a quarter point, or counting a full point for fresh herbs and not counting dried herbs. But again, it's not supposed to be complicated. So keep it simple and focus on the main point, which is simply to get you thinking about eating more plants. I'm blending my smoothie with some water, and as you can see, I also recently got some ear protection to wear while using my blender. I'm all about good overall health, so I decided I should be protecting my ears as well. These high-powered blenders can produce decibels high enough to cause ear damage with prolonged use. And I use my blender every day, sometimes multiple times. So my smoothie's ready now, and back to my oatmeal, I have a couple extras to add today. I'm recording this right after Christmas, and I had some leftover cranberry sauce from our holiday meal. So I'm going to mix a hefty scoop of that into my oatmeal, and that has dates and cranberries in it. Then I always add a tablespoon of ground flaxseed to my oatmeal, and today I also have some leftover homemade granola. I'm not going to count the oats in the granola since I already counted the oat groats. But the granola does have some walnuts in it, so I can count those too. That comes out to 9 points in my smoothie and 8 points in my oatmeal, for a total of 17 points for my breakfast. Now, there's no set number that you have to reach when you're counting plant points. You can simply use this as a tool to help you think about eating a wide variety of plants. The American Gut Project indicates that those eating at least 30 unique plants a week tend to have a healthier gut microbiome, thus contributing to better overall health. But just like I mentioned earlier about how I've been slowly increasing my exercise so as not to re-injure my elbow, Dr. B often discusses the importance of going low and slow when it comes to ramping up your fiber and plant diversity. So if you're not eating lots of plants yet, you don't need to go out and immediately try to eat 30 different plants all at once. Instead, maybe try for just adding one new plant a day, or even just one new plant a week to start. I've been eating this way for about 5 years now, so my gut is able to handle this diversity already. And once I enjoy this meal, it's time to get to work. I work from home for a mortgage company, and usually this time of year is pretty slow. But this year, things have been really busy, so I'm going to get focused for a few hours before lunch. Before I worked from home, I always prepped my food and brought my lunch to the office. And even now that I do work from home, I still always have my lunch ready to go. Today, I'm having leftovers of this spaghetti squash casserole. I just recorded a video with 3 different spaghetti squash casseroles where you can get the full recipe. But it's very simple. It just has the spaghetti squash, black beans, salsa, and my cheesy sauce, which is primarily made out of white beans and orange sweet potato. I also topped that off with a few low-sodium black olives. I try not to eat too many of these because even the low-sodium ones have quite a lot of sodium, but I like to use it as a small garnish every once in a while. Along with my casserole, I'll be having a baked Jersey sweet potato and a small side salad. Since I already had onion, tomatoes, and cucumbers in my morning smoothie, I won't count those again, but I will count the romaine lettuce, purple cabbage, and mandarin orange slices. I'm topping that with just a little bit of balsamic vinegar. With my lunch, I added 9 plant points to my day for a total so far of 26. After lunch, I got back to work, and then once I finished my workday, I had a little work around the house to do. Like I mentioned in my last What I Eat in a Day video, I've been waiting to get my windows replaced, and that project has now been delayed for over a month already. They didn't tell me right away that they knew it was going to be delayed, so I had already taken down all my window blinds and brackets in time for the installation, leaving my house much less insulated. Thankfully, we've had a pretty mild winter so far with only a few really cold days. But we've got some colder days coming, so I decided to put up some old plastic sheets that I had lying around to try and block some of the cold. After that, I did a little dance workout. I love finding all different kinds of cardio dance fitness videos online. For me, exercise can sometimes feel like a chore, but dance is a fun way that I can be active without realizing it's a workout. Finally, for dinner, I'm having a really simple meal using up some more leftovers. I've got some sorghum, which is one of my absolute favorite whole grains. I keep pre-cooked sorghum in my freezer, and this one's still a little frozen, so it's kind of clumpy. But it'll smooth out once I warm it up. I'm mixing that with some frozen spinach, which I'm not counting since I already had spinach in my smoothie. Although this time it's cooked spinach, and it is great to include both cooked and raw versions of different plants. Cooking changes how the fiber is used in your body, so you're essentially getting even more diversity of fiber in your diet from the same plant. To flavor this up, I'm simply using some of my homemade hummus, which includes a few more plant points. I can add 1 for garbanzo beans, another for the tahini, and it also has loads of garlic, but I already had that in my morning smoothie, so I won't count garlic again. I know this isn't exactly the prettiest meal, but it's totally tasty. I love adding hummus to just about any whole grain or whole grain pasta, along with some veggies, for a fantastic, easy meal. Along with that, I'm also having some hash brown potatoes. To those, I added a little bit of granulated onion and garlic, and some black pepper. I threw that in the oven before my workout earlier, so they're perfectly golden now. And after that, I was still a little hungry, so I made myself another smoothie. I like to weigh this one out to get an equal amount of fruit and vegetable. I'm using cauliflower, but I'm not adding a point for that since I already had cauliflower in my oats this morning. But I'm also adding some frozen banana and mango, so I'll add a couple points for those. Again, I'm just blending this with water, and that'll be it for me today. So let me tally up my points. My breakfast had 17 plants, my lunch added 9 to that, and now I've got 6 additional plants with dinner for a grand total of 32 plant points. And again, I want to emphasize that you do not need to eat quite this amount of diversity in one day. Everyone's starting from a different place, and everyone has different goals. So start wherever you are by simply trying to get 1 new plant in your diet at a time. Eventually, you can work your way up to a diet filled with mostly whole plant foods. And when you're eating only plant foods like I do, you can see how it becomes very easy to hit that target of 30 different plants a week. If you're ready to dive deeper and learn more about the connection between our gut and inflammation, check out Dr. B's new book, Plant Powered Plus, which is out January 13th, 2026. Or if you're just getting into a plant-based diet and you want to learn more about how fiber can help you achieve overall health, I highly recommend his first 2 books, Fiber Fueled and the Fiber Fueled Cookbook. I have an old video where I also played plant points if you want to check that one out too. As always, thanks for watching. Hit the thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you next time. Learn about the connection between our gut and inflammation. Or if you're just getting into a plant-based diet and you want to learn more about... Okay. I have an old video where I also played plant points if you want to check that out. Pants points.